Conversation.
I'm force projecting a hologram of myself all the way to E3. Watch out, gaming industry! A criminal deviant with a messiah complex in the body of an 800-pound gorilla wants to play games with apes in them! And he's doing it as a ghost!
Fallout 76? No, this is Fallout E3 2018. And this is The Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I'm Mitchell Wolfe.
Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, Tony. You may know me from Kongversation, but recently I've been known more for stalking Nintendo employees.
Is this an E3 show floor story? Because, oh God, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of this. I think we'll have to unpack it.
It's just a Twitter joke.
Okay.
It's
just a Twitter joke.
I'm a little bit disappointed,
just talking
but
about stalking.
I'm also glad it's just a Twitter joke.
I mean,
whatever
when I
that
saw
means.
those urinals, I didn't want to be in there.
Oh, we'll talk about that. Yeah, let me add that to the show notes. I introduced Mametchi to the Nintendo urinals at E3, the much vaunted
That was pretty gross.
pissing hole.
That was pretty gross.
So we do have Mametchi on the show, our E3 2018 wrap-up episode, and you may be wondering, well, Kongversation, why do you have Mametchi on this show? The last time you had him on the show was Season 5, the Orange Backer episode, and the reason we have Mametchi on the show is because I said he could be on the show, because he was actually at E3. He was an attendee at E3 2018, and on Tuesday, he hung out with Mitchell and I while we were going about our business. So he has some stories to share. We have some shared experiences to share with you. And I thought, well, why the hell not? Let's get him on here. So here we go. E3 is over, and I'm of two minds about that. I'm relieved it's over. But I have to admit, I had a really nice time, and while I don't think I would have wanted to go on any longer, I have nothing but fond memories about this E3. This was a pretty, on the surface, low-key E3, but it actually might have been one of my favorites.
Yeah, I have to agree. When there's just one thing that you really, really care about at E3, like I think has been in the past, that feels cool and that feels exciting, but this time I think it was more like there's a bunch of smaller things that we almost care about a lot. And I think that was a good recipe for a varied experience with meeting a lot of different people and just having a chiller time. Because if you care about one thing too much, I think you might, like, oversaturate yourself with it.
Sure.
And I've definitely done that with the new Super Smash Brothers, but I will continue to saturate myself with it because it's really good and I like it. But but yeah, I think if this was a big, like, if Banjo 3 got revealed this E3, it might have been just as an experience, as a thing to go to, a bit more hectic, a bit less fun.
Yeah, so when you're focused on one particular thing at E3, when there's this huge, encompassing, almost solar eclipse at E3, it's a bit harder to kind of hang back and get the bigger picture of the show. So pretty much by the end of the first day of the show floor, Tuesday, I realized we brought this up, Mitchell, but people's conception of E3 is a bit different when you're not at E3.
Right.
To a lot of people, E3 is over after Nintendo wraps up their Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, where that's actually the beginning of E3. And then, you know, E3 goes on through Thursday. And you can kind of tell the interest level has waned when you're making a tweet on Thursday on the show floor and you do hashtag E, and then E3 doesn't immediately pop up as a suggestion. You know, like, people have moved on. But, no, like, when you're at home, I think it's, you kind of want that big thing because you want something to obsess over. When you're actually there, it turns out that it's a lot easier to enjoy the entirety of the show if there's lots of, like, maybe little things you're interested in, but nothing really to hyper focus on. I know when, like, Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves were, like, the big draws before they had come out, like E3 2015 and 16, like, that was where my attention was, and it was a bit harder to enjoy the rest of the show, where this year, Sea of Thieves was present, but it kind of took a back seat. It wasn't playable on the show floor because it's been out for a few months. So therefore, I was able to really kind of savor a little bit of everything, and I think that made for a little bit more of an enjoyable experience all around.
For me, and 2016 was like the Breath of the Wild year.
Right.
I went to, as soon as the hall opened on the Tuesday of that year, the very first day of the show floor, I just immediately got in line, and despite the fact that I went from the opening of the hall into the line, I was still like an hour into the line. I sat through it like anxiously. I finally got to play it for a half hour, which was pretty generous for just a show floor walk-on demo. And then I played it, and then I got out of the line, and I said, that was amazing, and I got back in line, actually. And I played it again, and I wasted a lot of time at that E3, but it was also just, that was the thing I wanted to spend my time on. Smash Brothers is big this year, but it's nowhere near as big as that was. Or even really Super Mario Odyssey last year. Which is nice. I think that's good. It's a little less centralized, just a bit.
Well, it's a bit like Disneyland in that case, because
really?
I know that you said that E3 is different when you're watching it and when you're not, and as someone who knows entertainment better than anyone else, I feel that,
of course,
I feel that the best way to describe E3 is a battered Disneyland, because that's what it is. Instead of,
I think that is the best way to describe it. That is the best way to describe it.
You could get in line for Space Mountain 3 times if you want to. I mean, no one's stopping you, but you're just going to waste one of your valuable vacation days doing that. Unless if you're an annual pass holder, which I think should exist for E3.
I think we got a fake paid actor here for Disneyland, Mitchell.
I mean, yeah. He literally does work for Disney.
Ooh. What is that? You're doxing me?
Yeah, I'm doxing
the nice
you.
thing...
You work for Disney, man.
Thank you very much.
Everyone gets to know.
The nice thing about E3 is that this year, Nintendo made you book your appointments for Smash Brothers, so you didn't really have to obsess about getting in a line for it.
That also was stolen from Disney, by the way.
Okay. No,
it was stolen from Sony, who's been doing it for years for all of their games. But the difference with Sony... It's probably themselves. Shut up. But the biggest difference is that Sony has an app that is pretty user-friendly, and you can just download it and sign up whenever. And you could even do it on the day that you want to try it. You would just need to do it a few hours in advance for whatever game. Whereas Nintendo did a secret... borderline selective approach where they only emailed some people, and if you're media, like Hyle and I were, you just have to know Tony, and that's the only way we can get the link to sign up for the appointment.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, it's a huge puzzle.
You have to know specifically me, because I'm the only one who gave it out. I mean, no one else gave out the link, from what I know.
Well, I do appreciate it, and it was nice to book our appointment and then not have to worry about it anymore during E3 as far as, I've got to play Smash Brothers, or maybe I should play Smash Brothers again. No, you have your shot, you play it, you get to move on. It was kind of a refreshing way to deal with it, although the first day was absolute chaos.
It sucked.
As I briefly touched upon in the last episode, there was really no line control for the lines. Nobody knew where the lines ended. They only knew where they began, and then the lines became this amorphous blob in the hallway where there were the two lines. There was the for glory line, or competitive play, and then the for fun, or non-competitive play. Mametchi and I were non-competitive. Mitchell decided to sign up for glory. But
he didn't decide to.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have done anything differently, but I did not know what I was signing up for when I was doing it.
Yeah, so, like, it was basically a human crush of people. Tony and I was, like, walking around in circles with Tony trying to find this line, and we were, like, getting pushed and prodded, and there were people trying to move in all sorts of different directions, and you could barely move. And granted, this is a small complaint, because we were just trying to get in line to play a video game. We weren't being torn from our parents and held in cages at the border. So, all in all, I think our problems are pretty small in comparison.
Yeah, it's either like Disneyland or it's like that. It's
you're
it's
right.
Like one of
E3
those two
is one of the two.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to keep things into perspective. I'm getting a little whiny here, and all in all, we were just trying to get in line to play a video game that's not even out yet, so we still had it pretty damn good.
Yeah. I actually got to play. I don't know if we talked about this. I got to play the game for about like 45 minutes more later that week. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this.
Yeah, I had an appointment to do that, and
did you meet Reggie or?
No, I didn't. I didn't meet Reggie or Sakurai. I met Mewtwo King again. We've met before a few times actually, and he did not remember me whatsoever, which is just fine. You just crash on a person's couch, then you forget their face. It's totally fine. Whatever, Mewtwo King. But Smash, I played it some more. I feel like if I only got that experience of playing it like actually on the show floor, I would walk away having no idea how I would feel about that play experience. So I'm glad that happened. It's a good feeling game, man. It's really active. It's a fun video game. Says Mitchell Wolfe.
It's active, but it never feels chaotic, overly chaotic. The chaos always feels manageable, which I felt like the last Smash Brothers never felt. It was either all chaos or absolutely stripped down to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the kind of Smash experience I was whining about this when I had you on, Mitchell, for the Smash Brothers episode we did before E3. So I would say my complaints have basically been answered. Like everything I wanted out of the gameplay experience, ignoring whatever characters might be in this gameplay experience, this is exactly the Smash Brothers I'd want. This is a game I would want K. Rool in. Okay,
yeah.
And I'm thrilled that all the returning characters are back. Mametchi, though, you have not shared your experiences with Smash Brothers. You played it. You beat me, you bastard. You beat me with Ridley. So talk about what you thought about Smash Brothers. And this is where we all drink while you complain about the lack of rhythm heaven characters. Go!
Okay, first off, I don't know why you keep saying it like that I beat you like it's something special when I haven't played Smash
when anyone could have.
I haven't played Smash Brothers in 2 years properly. So for one thing, I don't even think I'm that good. Maybe I just knew that I was doing better because.
Oh, okay. When I say you beat me, you also beat 2 other people we were playing with.
I mean, they kind of suck.
So
you. I'm just being honest, okay? What was his name? The DK fan we met.
Well, we don't need to talk
Scott.
about the specific names of the people you beat.
He was nice too, but he did kind of suck. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I mean, it's to be fair. The second time around, I did play as a character I was familiar with, so whatever. But
yeah, maybe the problem is just Ridley's OP, man.
He probably is. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, see, that's Sakurai giving people what they want. But
It's a bit not what people are saying right now.
well,
People,
some people don't know
yeah.
what they want.
No, I mean about Ridley being OP. Ridley's pretty okay, according to some people.
Okay, well, then
I
I'm
can't
good
really
then.
weigh in, though.
Then I guess I'm good then.
Okay, you're just... Yeah, let yourself be good.
I'm good at a game. But, so, when we were in line for the... So, I guess my first reactions to this game, during, like, the Direct, I just didn't give a shit. Like, I didn't get what I want. When you have that internal, like, voice in your head that's telling you, I want this in this game. and it's not in the game. And there's not going to be as many characters as last time, obviously. Then you kind of just have the feeling of, yeah, this game's not for me. I don't care. And on the show floor, when I met Hyle there, him and I were just joking about Smash Brothers, like, oh, we're in this line for this game that's a port of a 4-year-old game, which is a sequel to a 10-year-old game, which is also a sequel to a game that's even older, which is also a sequel to this other game. And then it stops there because that game's the original. But well, what I'm trying to say is, I think me and Hyle didn't have any expectations when we were going to play. When I did play, I think I agree with Hyle when he says that all of the gameplay related things are just a lot better now. Like, I had a lot of fun playing it. I had a lot of fun beating Hyle and everyone else. I mean,
good. I'm glad.
But I think the issue was with Smash 4 is that, and this could still happen for Smash Ultimate, by the way, since we don't know anything about any modes. Do we know if there's going to be an adventure mode? Do we know if we're going to have this?
No, we don't know
that?
anything.
So it could still be as bare bones as Smash 4 is, but with better gameplay, because it feels better. But I think the issue of that game is that the only thing you'd care about, or rather, a lot of people cared about, because the gameplay wasn't anything special, in my opinion, of course, was the characters, because it's the only thing that's there to get excited about. While in this game, I think I'm excited just to play it. So, I mean, that's cool. But I'm still going to be I'm still going to campaign and moan about rhythm heaven content in this game.
Yeah, never throw away the dream.
Because that is my favorite game of all time, and I think it's criminal still. We don't know if this is going to change or not. That Nintendo's music game series, a rhythm game made by Nintendo, a first-party game by Nintendo, just has only 2 songs in Smash Brothers for Wii U. And those 2 songs, debatably, aren't good fits for Smash Bros. So, it just feels weird that this series has almost nothing in the last Smash game. While I'm not expecting much in this game, I just hope for a stage or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Sistro.
Well, I feel this.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way about the classic rhythm Nintendo series Donkey Konga. There was really a lack of content, actually less content for Donkey Konga since they removed Donkey Kong's bongo playing Final Smash.
But they added Jungle Beat stuff, so I mean.
Right, but that's not Donkey Konga. That's Jungle Beat. So.
And that Jungle Beat stuff could have been read just as easily as Return stuff.
Well, but he specified it was Jungle Beat, so you know what?
It was weird that he did that, yeah.
You gotta, because it's gonna be a Jungle Beat 2, obviously, because remember that bongo patent we saw? This is cross-promotional with it.
You think they're gonna release a Smash Brothers branded bongo set?
First, well, I think they're gonna release. Well, so you remember that weird patent, right? Where it's like the DK. I
do remember
DK bongos, or just bongos, and it's the Nintendo Switch. What if they release a Jungle Beat 2 for the Switch?
Well, I don't know if they're ever going to release a Jungle Beat 2, but I would be fine if they released the original GameCube version of Jungle Beat, because I really think that it's the superior version of the two. Well, that's surprisingly a nuanced perspective from you.
No, it's
Tony.
not.
I didn't. No, I assumed you were going to be all doom and gloom on it. So the fact that you were able to take a step back and say, okay, this was a fun game, even though I did not get all of my Rhythm Heaven content, that's a surprisingly mature take. Just like I haven't gotten anything besides a Crystal Assist trophy that wasn't there.
Jungle Beat reference.
Yes, but okay, they just swapped out.
Hyle.
Yeah, exactly for me.
You read the slush fund, okay? Sakurai knows what he's looking at online, okay?
Yeah, he knows what he's looking at.
He's not like...
He doesn't...
You aren't like the Waluigi fans he blocks for sending him inappropriate images.
Yeah, if we had to get Sakurai to unblock the DK Vine Twitter account, that would be a much more difficult conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he knows what he's looking at online. He doesn't accidentally stumble on any scat porn, that Sakurai. He's on top of the game with his online browsing.
He knows how to use Google.
He
does.
He uses ad block, obviously.
Obviously. So, those were Mametchi Smash Brothers thoughts. You're welcome, people.
I do think we're getting K-Roll, by the way. That's just a gut feeling now.
Yeah, I'm feeling it too. I feel like it's really happening.
I feel like we're getting something. But K-Rool, maybe. I would say 50-50. Like, at this point, we got Ridley. That was such a huge, never gonna happen type thing. And they were even, like, adamant about it in the last game. They were almost trolling people that it was never gonna happen. So the fact that they had such a quick turnaround on Ridley says to me, we had the Mii costume for K-Rool in the last game. They know people want it. They know there's a huge, like, vocal contingency of fans who want it. So 50-50 shot, I would say. We don't know how many more characters we're getting, but it is definitely
if I could
better
comment
shot.
On characters, the one dude who leaked the Ridley reveal, which, by the way, this was leaked, of course, apparently, by I forgot I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's some word in German. Okay.
Yeah, it starts with a V.
V. Okay. So Vergenbahn, or I don't know.
Verbolten.
Okay, whatever. I don't speak German, but
I was just guessing.
Okay, so he said reportedly on Reddit that there's still at least half a dozen character reveals left.
Yeah, and the one he knew about was Simon Belmont.
Yes. Now, to be fair, of course, he also leaked. So the thing about his track record is that, on the Smash thing, he leaked a few things, which were not just the Ridley thing, but also he said Simon Belmont's going to be in the game. But he did leak a few things, such as every character is returning, which may or not be an impressive leak to make, because anyone could say that. But a couple hours before the Direct, he leaked that the title was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, on the day, I was pretty pessimistic about this guy's legitimacy. I didn't think that it was real, but then I think that's just because on the day, it's so hard to learn about anything that's happening online when you're actually at E3. So now that I've actually gone and read up on what happened, I do think he's probably telling the truth.
Now,
his leak was too accurate.
Now, he did say that Star Fox Grand Prix is real, so make of that what you will.
Okay. Well,
okay.
That might be a retro secret game that they've been working on for 25 years now, I think.
I can almost say with utmost certainty it is not.
You want to make a bet on it?
Yes.
Come on, Hyle. I know you. I know what.
Yeah, I after E3, I have no money to bet. I pretty much.
You could bet DK Vine.
Whoa.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, see, then that means it could be real because you're hesitant.
Come on. If you're so sure about yourself, put up the Falcon.
No, I learned from Lando Calrissian's mistakes, thank you. So, speaking of Star Fox, Mitchell, did you play Starlink?
I did. I'm sorry for ruining your really good transition, but I just wanted to say one thing before we move on.
Son of a bitch, I really worked up to that transition.
I know you really did. And I had so many opportunities to stop you, and I didn't. But in the DK Vine Inner Circle, there is a user by the name of Fear Navigator who says, effectively, a few times they've been talking to people about Smash Ultimate, and then they've been responded to with something like, oh yeah, my friends who are Melee pros thinks it looks legit. and they were getting frustrated with them being the end-all authorities on opinions in the Smash series. And I feel like I should maybe weigh in on that, because I'm absolutely not a Melee pro by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very bad at it, but I have been maybe coming to the conversation with that perspective. So and I've also been the person that's been on the most conversations recently about Smash Brothers in particular. So I feel like I should at least speak on that. If you're a fan of Smash in any way, you're absolutely, totally able and encouraged to have your own opinions on anything at all. I think the reason I've been stressing why a game that appeals more to Melee players would be, on the whole, a more sound investment for Nintendo, at least in terms of design, maybe not in terms of actually selling the game, who knows. Although I think Melee is the best-selling Smash Brothers in any case. It's just that if Brawl players were still playing Brawl and they were still organizing tournaments of a large scale about Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I would be more inclined to listen to them too. If Melee players liking a game is much less about them actually liking it and more about the idea that it could be competitive enough to drive a cultural importance behind a game and to drive like continued playing for for Melee's case, over 15 years. So I don't think that can be understated. It's just working on a different set of risk and reward. You absolutely don't have to listen to what they say, though, or what I say at all. That said, I just wanted to get that out of the way, because I thought that was a really interesting perspective from Fear Navigator.
Yeah, I don't like that the so-called professional Smash Brothers players basically drive the narratives for Smash Brothers fandom in general.
How many people actually play Melee?
What?
How many people actually play Melee?
Many. A lot.
Well, what defines many?
Thousands that come back to tournaments every year.
Well, thousands is considered a bomb in box office standards.
Okay,
that,
but
are the most dedicated, continued participators. There are more Melee players than there are Smash Wii U players by a lot.
That's not true.
That is true. There are more. There are more Melee players going to tournaments to play Super Smash Brothers Melee than those same tournaments like EVO coming up. It's going to have more Melee players than Wii U players by a considerable margin.
Well, I think Melee should be illegal.
Oh.
Well, that's an interesting perspective.
I mean, our president banned the media, so why can't he ban a video game?
Ban the media?
He really... Wow, we're really getting into some political hot topics.
Yeah.
What do you think of Donald Trump's recent media ban?
I've often said that Super Smash Bros. Melee is the enemy of the free people of America. I've often said that. You know when I say that. You've heard me. I'll say this. I don't like that the pro Smash Bros. Players have driven the narrative of what constitutes a Smash Bros. Fan for so long. But in this, I am in agreement with them. I feel like Melee is the superior title for both professional, for glory players, and for the just for fun, not competitive players like me. I feel like it's just so well-rounded. There's a reason that title is so magical, and why it's ultimately... I like Brawl. I like a lot of elements about Brawl, but I do think it started to stray from that winning formula, and Super Smash Bros. 4 was just so far afield from where they started that... it's good to see a return to the Melee structure, at least something that plays a lot closer to it.
I think there's also just the fact, sorry for belaboring this as much as we have, but I think there's also just the fact that, if you're really into Smash as a casual game, my friends who are casual fans of Smash, every Smash game has had just a lot more characters, so every Smash game has been fine. Every Smash game has been great. And if you're into the single player experience, that's like a very binary, yes, it has what I want, or no, it doesn't. Where the fact that it's appealing to this to a Melee fan is different. It's new. I think it's notable in that way. So that'll come up more in conversation in any case. Both Brawl and Wii U didn't quite appeal to that base in the same way that Melee did 17 years ago. So there's that. But yeah, moving on. Do you want to talk about Star Fox and Starlink?
Yes, that's my brilliant segue that you just trampled all over like it was cheap trash. Yeah. Yes.
Well, 5 years ago, Hyle queued me up to talk about Starlink. And I didn't actually play with the R-Wing or with Fox McCloud. It was not an option. So that kind of was unfortunate. But I did play the game, and it's an interesting video game, Hyle. I think
really?
Believe it or not, it's an interesting video game. Did you get a chance with this one?
I did not, and I have to say I didn't really care enough to seek it out. And look, it still might be something that DK Vine covers, considering it has Fox. Who knows? Crystal might show. Yeah, you never know. Warpstone might be in there. Maybe
probably Warpstone. Maybe
General Scales, I'm sure, but. Shabunga, I almost a better chance of Shabunga being in this than K-Rool and Smash. But, I didn't have to really seek it out for the site. To me, it just, and I know this comparison isn't a one-to-one, totally apt and fair comparison, but it did feel like Donkey Kong and Skylanders. And I know it's a little bit more than that. But it's still toys to life. Another franchise that a Nintendo character is just being included in as a guest. So, I don't know.
I just don't get why they're making a Toys to Life game in 2018, because that industry, I mean, Disney couldn't even make money in it, so you know that it's tainted blood.
Disney couldn't even make money with a Han Solo movie, so don't get me started on what
Disney's had a very poor reputation within the last probably full decade of actually managing their video game brands, so that's not surprising in any case.
Well, they just needed to make another game of Rare.
Disney need to make another. Well, okay, whatever. So Starlink, I think that comparison is fair. It is like Donkey Kong and Skylanders in that it's very clearly a guest in this thing. Unlike Donkey Kong and Skylanders, there is some there's a bit of story for every character that you use. They have personalities and they talk and say words and talk to other people, which is nice. It gives you more flavor. So there's potential. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, because again, I haven't played the Fox part of this game. There is potential for some like Star Fox universe stuff in this game, whereas in Skylanders it was very much just Donkey Kong himself is here. So that's cool.
You didn't read the tie-in comic to the Donkey Kong.
Well, yeah, there was a tie-in comic but for this, it could all potentially happen in the game itself, which is maybe a bit more exciting.
Yeah, a little bit more exciting, yes, I would say. I mean, look, like I was very for Donkey Kong and Skylanders, and I still am. I like that it happened, but I think ultimately it just failed to scratch that itch, because it just felt like a pantomime. You weren't really playing a Donkey Kong game. Nothing really felt like it truly belonged, and it just felt like, I'm playing this character I really like in this world I don't really care about that much. I kind of get that sense with Starlink.
Did you ever end up actually buying all of those amiibo? I mean, sorry, the Skylanders? Or what happened?
I got all the superchargers. Yeah.
All of them? Even the ones that aren't like the ones about you? Even though, sorry, that was a bad English sentence.
What?
Do you mean? I stroked out for a second.
You did.
Did you got all of them, even the ones that weren't Nintendo related at all?
Yeah, I mean that's the bulk of them outside of Donkey Kong and Bowser.
You got Dark Donkey Kong too, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course I got Dark Donkey Kong. Yes.
Wow.
That should
If
be
you
a
just
Smash
didn't
Brothers
do
character.
that, you wouldn't have had to sweat for E3 at all. You could have just saved your money.
No, I own every single Skylanders supercharger. I don't have all the Skylanders before that series, nor did I get the Imaginators. But yeah, I have them all in my closet here.
Let's face it, though. I think those Skylanders are going to go in the clearance bin anytime soon.
They've been in the clearance bin. That's how I got the bulk of them.
Ooh, nice. See, Hyle isn't wasting money. He's waiting.
Are you using any of them
How would I be using them?
in the game?
He has. To
I haven't played the game. I haven't played the game. Like the only reason you would use them is to scan them in and get the check on the checklist in game. That's the only reason you get them all.
Well, did you do that?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good. At least you're using them. I was imagining just like straight from the store into a shelf that you'll never look at, which is about what happened to my amiibos. So it's better than that.
Well,
I
at least
suppose.
Amiibo, they have a use though.
They have less of a use than Skylanders.
Yes, they do.
They're better characters because I think I would put up a amiibo like on my desk of say Wario or Donkey Kong over that red guy from Skylanders.
Oh, okay.
a good
Well,
point.
the thing is, Donkey Kong and Wario are already pre-established characters. At least the thing about Skylanders is most of them are original characters, save for your Spyros.
Well, speaking of pre-established characters, Fox McCloud is in Starlink. So I think one of the best pieces of news that came out about Starlink is actually the price. When you think of Toys to Life, you think of even the minimum entry is probably close to $100.
It is.
How much was the original starter pack for Superchargers?
I think it was 70 or 80.
Oh, okay, so Starlink is actually pretty close to that then. For some reason I thought it was more expensive. Starlink is $75 on Switch at least. I don't know about the other consoles. And that'll get you the game, in-box and everything. It'll get you the R-Wing, Fox McCloud, another character who I think is Mason, who in the world of Starlink... I'm bringing all the Starlink facts today. Mason, in the world of Starlink, invented the Starlink technology. What the Starlink technology is, I did not look up.
Is it like a Stargate? Is this something like Teal'c? Like something Teal'c would use?
It might be like an in-game representation of the technology that reads the toys. I mean, that's a guess, though. I have no idea. And 2 guns for the R-Wing, because you need... The guns and the ships are separate pieces. And that is enough to play the entire game. That's everything in the game. $75, just 15 more than a regular game.
Now, I'm just curious, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you buy another character, that would be just a different story campaign, though, right? Or...
I don't think it's a different story. The characters have different abilities.
But I think you mentioned that Star Fox characters would have their own story, so to like.
I mean, it seems that way, but I can't exactly tell.
Okay, because I know that for Disney because that sounds better if every character would have their own campaign, like kind of. Because...
I don't know if they'll have their own full campaign, but the campaign could just be tailored more around that character that you're using.
Because I know that for, as an example, 2 examples, Lego Dimensions and Disney Infinity, a character would just get you the character, while you'd have to buy this basically useless piece of plastic thing. It was just a plastic thing that would let you unlock new levels, and they'd be like $35 a piece.
Yeah.
And I guess my issue with Toys to Life was always that it seemed like a waste of plastic. Because, again, at least with Amiibo, you're buying it to put on your shelf or something. Like, it actually looks nice. And the Starlink stuff, again, it's the R-Wing, all of this, I mean,
I think the R-Wing looks nice. I think it's cool to have a little R-Wing.
I mean, yeah, they were going to make an Amiibo of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised have they said anything about having this also be an amiibo, like the Skylanders were amiibos, the Donkey and Bowser ones?
You know, they haven't, and the way it works with all these interchangeable parts and the fact that you need to plug all of these things onto... Oh, the one thing I didn't mention that also comes with that starter kit is the reader. Like, you slide both your Joy-Cons into the reader, and that reads these parts. And I guess it's different technology that Ubisoft made from the ground up than just standard NFC chips, because they need to, like, the guns need to go through the chip, or the ship, right? The guns aren't making contact with the reader. So that's different and kind of weird. But, yeah, I guess in that sense, it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for them to be amiibo.
Yeah, I guess that's still a shame though, because I think the coolest thing about the Skylanders crossover was they served as not only amiibo but also like amiibo that were exclusive to the West. Like they didn't Skylanders wasn't a thing in Japan, so like the Donkey Kong and his Evel Knievel yellow tracksuit was an exclusive one like we got over here, which was kind of cool because it's very rare we get exclusive toys like that.
Yeah.
In the live stream chat, Godzilla Guy 92 says, "I'm secretly still dead set on getting all the pre-Supercharger Skylanders." That might be true.
I feel like you shouldn't have to get all the pre-Supercharger Skylanders, but you should have to get the post-Supercharger Skylanders, because Donkey Kong still works in the Switch Switch version or Wii U version of Imaginators.
He does, yes.
Yeah.
And I will. I'm still dead set on getting all of them, I suppose. All of them.
All right.
Well, speaking of piss... I took Mametchi up to the Nintendo urinals, and Mametchi, what do you think of those Nintendo urinals?
They were urinals. Well, they were weird because when you hear the word urinal, I think you think of the one that's like the standard. You know, like it looks like this. It looks like the thing where it's everyone was peeing on a thing. Like, there was this thing where...
It's a trough. It's a trough.
It was a trough? Okay.
It's a trough, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a big... It's like something pigs would feed out of, except something you pee in instead.
I felt like I was in there. It feels weird because... This urinal, by the way, is not officially called the Nintendo urinal. But
no.
But here's the thing.
They put a sign up.
But here's the thing, okay? So when we were first getting online for Smash Brothers, or trying to find our way, I saw a line that was for like one of the Smash lines, but I thought it was a line for the bathroom because the bathroom also happened to be there. So that's how weird E3 felt to me. But so like, I mean, it's weird because why would you use that when you could walk like just a few more steps and you'd see toilets? And I'm like, why would you make yourself pee in that? Like, what's the purpose?
To getting
For
rid
the
of your
bonding
the purpose is getting
experience.
rid of your pee.
But if there's toilets,
You
why
have
not
too
just
much
use
of it.
those?
You got to get rid of it.
Look, that's a weird like public display of indecency in there. Something I don't. And I bet Miyamoto doesn't even use the urinals. He uses the toilets like a sane person would.
The thing is, sometimes you don't want to touch the stalls because, like, for me, it's all about minimizing the amount of germs and bacteria I'm going to be touching in that bathroom. So if it's easier,
you bring antibacterial
well, sure, and I also wash my hands, but that doesn't matter. Like, I'm all about limiting my exposure, so if that means exposing myself over a trough and relieving myself there, I'm going to be doing that, rather than touching a stall, going in a stall, having to shut myself in a stall, locking the door. That's too much. That's too much content with my bare skin.
Well,
I have nothing to hide.
When it says kills 99.99% of germs, that is also just marketing fluff.
Sure. But I also wash my hands too. So, but my point is, I have no shame. I have no shame, like, in the bathroom, having it hang out.
But what if someone pees on you?
Well, then that's a weird thing to happen. But I very much doubt it's going to turn into a pee party. I think everybody walks in with the understanding that I should not take a piss on somebody else, and I hope they extend that courtesy to me.
I can't believe you guys put this in the show notes as something to talk about. I can't believe it's written here. It's under Starlink. Hyle's just written urinals. So, yeah.
Mitch, have you been in them?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay, so you understand how disgusting it feels, right?
No, I don't think it's any different than just a standard
There is
urinal.
There is a big yellow stain on the trough, and I always like to say that's Miyamoto's stain. I always like to imagine that is something he personally did.
Maybe it was
he
Sakurai.
Autographed it. Maybe it was Sakurai. Sakurai was there this year briefly.
Or it could be Bill Trinin's.
It could be Bill Trinin. The thing is, the amount of donuts he consumes, I'm sure he's a stall man. He just gets it all done in one sitting.
Remember Yokai Watch?
Oh my god, yeah. But we gotta. What's next?
So all of this, just talking about Nintendo urinals, I should also mention that Mametchi met Craig Duncan, the head of Rare.
I did. It was something.
It was something.
It was something. So, do you want to describe what happened, Mametchi? This is your story more than mine.
I'll talk a bit about it, and you can fill in the blanks because my memory is like It's like
I forgot the word.
I forgot the words to that too. But so we were at the Microsoft booth for some reason. We just decided to go there because I think Hyle had to use the bathroom, right? I think
no,
maybe, but
No,
I also wanted to go.
Because we wanted to go to the Microsoft booth.
Okay, because you're okay.
So Craig Duncan of Rare, head of Rare, high up in the Xbox food chain, and you met him. So we went over to the Microsoft Theater to check out the Sea of Thieves setup and also all the other Xbox games. And we were waiting in line, and I think Adam Park spotted us because he was giving out the Sea of Thieves free in-game items that you could get for visiting and Microsoft and the Sea of Thieves booth. And he spotted us, and he was like, "Oh, come here!" And he took us around and introduced. Mitchell, was this the first time you met Craig, or
I've met Craig
him
a few
before.
times. But
yeah,
this was the first time I watched someone like Craig meet someone like Tony, and I felt like the whole world was just collapsing in on itself and exploding at the same time.
It's not really surprising that he talked to me.
No, I don't think it's surprising that he talked to you. He's
a very nice guy. No. So here's the thing. It's always weird when like different sets of friends.
Yeah, that's
from
what
two different worlds.
And this is maybe the most two different like sets of friends that you could have.
Right. So yeah.
We're not really that different too, because
apparently not.
Because the thing is that I know you're acting a little surprised, but Craig Duncan does follow me on Twitter, so he knows who I am. Obviously,
he does.
Yep.
He knew who you were from the show itself. So
that's weird.
And he follows you.
It is weird when you think about it, though. Just like, oh man, like this is one of the.
I've thought about it. It is weird.
That I like.
Mm-hmm.
Knows who I am, listens to a show I've embarrassed myself on, and follows my embarrassing Twitter. Like, it's like, what have I done to my public image?
Yeah, like I love when someone that you know and that might be like of a higher social status than you you find out that they follow you on Twitter, and you're like, what's everything I've ever tweeted ever? I need to cleanse my Twitter account.
Remember when
Stat.
Mark Hamill said he liked ducks to me? That's also mind-blowing. So that kind of thing.
But so
Right.
you asked Craig Duncan two very important questions.
I did, yes. One of them's more important than the other, but you won't know which one.
I feel that they are both important, and you should talk about both of them.
So the first question. So by the way, I kind of asked it out of the blue. By the way, because I was whenever the thing is that I was actually pretty damn shy because it's crazy meeting people from Rare. Like in general, that's like the coolest thing ever. Okay, like because you don't get that from anyone else at E3, but because I'm friends with Mitchell and Hyle and everyone from DK Vine, we're a little special in that Rare likes to pay attention to us. So it's crazy cool. It's crazy cool. They like
to keep tabs on us to make sure we're not up to no good.
Yeah,
I think
I feel like
probably
likes to
more
pay
apt.
attention to us is such a perfect way to describe that tenuous relationship.
But so I asked Craig Duncan on a whim. Do you like Rhythm Heaven? And the response he told me, I was speechless for a second. But
Well,
then
just say it.
I learned to accept what he said within a minute because it's a bit like.
I like how you're stringing the audience along for this. Like it really matters.
Do you want help with this?
No, you see, it's a bit like when a politician says something that you disagree with, but it isn't as bad as what Donald Trump said. Like, obviously, because
Where are you going with this?
what Craig Duncan told me is not as bad as anything Donald Trump's ever done. So I can't fault him.
Well, that's good.
Okay, he said he liked Rhythm Heaven, but he thinks Elite Beat Agent is better.
Right. Yeah, which I thought was so funny. Because, like, the
think
only
it's
thing
funny.
you were talking about, other than having played Smash Brothers that day, is, as always, Rhythm Heaven. And you just get to talk to Craig Duncan, and you're like, do you like Rhythm Heaven? He's like, not as much as this other thing. I thought it was so funny.
So at this point, I was basically, like, I had left my body. I was, like, floating somewhere above the Pacific Ocean at this point, just completely, like, detached from reality. Just witnessing this conversation and witnessing these two elements of my life meeting. Yeah.
I think I actually know which one he played too, because he described it as coming in like a little yellow box. So it's the original GBA version.
Oh, wow.
I think someone bought it. I think he said someone bought it for him, and I mean it was like 15 years ago he got it. Actually, it'll be 12 years ago, since that's when the game first came out. But
This is so specific.
I mean, he said it too. Okay, I know that, but I know everything too about this. Okay, so don't judge me. Okay.
No, you can't be judged. Because I thought for sure that question just wouldn't land at all. But then it landed pretty well. Like, he had some stuff to say about it.
See, Mitch, just because you haven't played it doesn't mean anyone else hasn't.
That's not... Okay. I'm sorry, I guess. I don't know why this turned into an attack on me, but I guess I'm sorry. What's the other question you asked
You want
him?
to fight, Mitch?
No, what's the other question you asked him?
The other question that I asked him, now this is big, okay? This is so big, I don't even know if I should say it, because if I say it, then we don't know what could happen to Craig, because I don't even know if he was supposed to tell me this.
He didn't tell you anything.
He did say something, because I know how to analyze people.
Okay.
You look in their eyes when they answer a question, and you know what they're thinking internally.
Tony, just tell the audience what happened.
I asked Craig Duncan one of the most immortal questions. He might get it every day,
I'm sure he gets it every day, yeah.
but he doesn't get it every day from me. And I asked him, is Banjo-Kazooie going to be in Smash Brothers? And he told me he could neither confirm or deny that
Now,
Banjo-Kazooie are in Smash Brothers.
That is exactly what he said, and I'm glad you didn't embellish it at all. because I need you to understand that doesn't mean anything at all.
No, I want to say something.
I need you to understand that doesn't mean anything at all, Tony.
When people ask Phil Spencer if Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash Brothers, he says he would like it. Craig Duncan did not say that.
So are you imagining Craig Duncan went over Phil Spencer's head?
Yeah?
He can't. That's not who owns the character.
Well, neither does Phil Spencer.
No, Phil Spencer does. That's the whole point of his job.
He doesn't because Microsoft owns it. Phil Spencer just works for Microsoft.
I feel like you've misinterpreted the chain of command at Microsoft.
So I'm just completely, blowing past this. In your defense, Mametchi, when I first met Craig Duncan, when Chad and I first met him, we asked him which Brothers Bear was best. So, honestly, in retrospect, you probably made a better first impression than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my first impression would have been the Kongversation, so I was already...
That's true.
I was already screwed.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm very sorry if I embarrassed you, Craig. I'm sorry.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened on Tuesday, and then we eventually went back over. Craig Duncan said he had to go to an interview, but I'm sure that was just an excuse to get away from us.
It was an excuse to meet with Sakurai to debate about Banjo and Smash Brothers because they can't decide on the side B for him.
That's the thing that's stopping it. They can't decide the side B.
Yeah, that's holding up the whole process.
He would have been in Melee if they could figure that side B question out.
Bureaucrats,
I know.
they're like that. Okay?
17 years in the making. Eventually, we went back. You refused to get a tattoo at the Sea of Thieves booth, Mametchi.
Well, you see, at my place of employment, tattoo is considered a no-no.
No. Well, considering the pirate band, the Skullduggers, also work at Disneyland, I'm sure
they're gods, basically.
Okay.
And entertainment gets anything. They don't care what entertainment wears.
By the way, Mametchi, did you see the tattoo I got? Did you see the fake Sea of Thieves tattoo I got? Did you see it?
Yes. I hope it was permanent.
Yeah.
I hope it's still there.
It's not permanent, but it's still on my arm. It still won't come off. So
good. I hope it stays there forever.
A while ago,
it makes me happy whenever I look at it, though.
I got a henna tattoo a while ago of the star-kissed tuna, really big on my arm.
Why?
I thought it would be funny, and I was maybe a little bit under the weather at a party.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I was right. It was very funny. It was funny how it lasted for a full month on my arm. The Starkist Tuna guy, it looked really good. It was a very high-quality henna tattoo. And whoever the woman was that put it on my arm, I'm still thankful for that. But that is just my way of making a segue to what I'd like to call the best ramen simulator of E3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope this is DKU. We have no confirmation yet.
Not yet.
But
they gave us their business card, so we could ask if Royston's in it.
Please don't. please don't do that to these people that don't need any of this questioning.
They don't need this world intruding upon their own. So we went over.
Hyle.
We went back over to the LACC after the meeting of Craig Duncan and Mametchi, the meeting of the minds, and we went back over to the LACC, and we ended up checking out the Indiecade, was it?
Yeah, Indiecade is my favorite place in E3 every year. It's a pretty sizable area in the same hall as the larger third parties like Sony and Nintendo, and this is traditionally where Microsoft is as well. Even though I don't think they were there last year. Then there's just also Indiecade, which buys out a pretty big floor space to showcase games with very small development teams, very small budgets, usually like only one or two developers there to show it off. And sometimes they include, let's call them non-video games as well.
I think that's a generous term, considering there was nothing video about this game.
Right.
So this was something called the Ideal Meal, and it caught my eye because it looked like something from off of the classic Nickelodeon game show Double Dare.
Which is returning. It's returning.
With Mark Summers?
I don't know who that is.
The host of Double Dare!
Well, I don't watch television from the 80s, Hyle.
Get owned, Hyle.
Wow. You sure showed me. Because I watched television from the 80s all the time when I lived in the early 90s.
Mark Summers is returning, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That's awesome. I thought they were going to try to replace him with some, like hip young host, but I thought, Mark Summers was host of Double Dare despite suffering from crippling OCD, and he was afraid to get messy, even though it was the messiest game show. Anyway, so Ideal Meal was it.
Well, no, so he has a new host along him too, though. Just saying.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Anyway,
Ideal
that's
Meal.
okay. He can pass the torch, just like Harrison Ford in Star Wars. He'll get stabbed at the end of the first season, and he'll fall into a shaft. So, spoilers. So, Ideal Meal, I saved the flyer and the business card just to talk about it on the conversation. It's a game that basically you use giant chopsticks to pick up giant novelty food items, and you have to work in tandem with a group of people, two other people, I guess.
Yeah.
Because on the flyer, there's 3 people, and we were 3 people, and that's how we played it.
I think they had another set of chopsticks, so there could have been 4.
Could have been 4. Okay, so it says Ideal Meal is a cooperative field game all about making a humongous bowl of ramen. Use massive chopsticks to handle larger-than-life ingredients with your friends, all according to a wacky recipe. This tasty ramen game has shown at GDC 2018 with mild rumpus, I don't know what any of that means, at the Getty Museum as a temporary installment, and at USC Games Expo 2018. And they can be found at Biggest Noodles.
Yeah, I kind of... I socially forced you guys to play this with me.
You did!
It's called peer
I was glad
pressure.
we did, though.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
I went back to the Indiecade a lot later throughout the week, just to play different, like, smaller games that... they're so different than anything else in the show, and they have a lot, I would say, maybe unfairly, that they have a lot more love put into them on an individual basis than some of the larger AAA games. And they can do a lot more stuff because there's no one like writing the checks that requires games to be a certain way. Like Hyle, we saw so many post-apocalyptic, zombie usually, survival games where just the good of humanity had lost, and the actual threat is other people themselves.
That's so profound. Did you know that we are the Walking Dead, Mitchell?
Whoa,
I
man.
mean, what?
There was a Walking Dead exhibit, too. It was kind of weird because I never heard about the game that's coming out for it. This is not the Telltale game, it's some other game. They had
Overwatch is the Walking Dead.
It's
right?
not Overwatch. Overwatch is a different thing.
Well, I know that's another game, but what was it was something
Overkill, I think.
Overkill.
Yeah.
See, I don't care.
Overkill is the Walking Dead.
I would agree that Walking Dead has had its share of overkill now. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we were there.
It really should be based on the ratings from the last season. Underwatches.
I want to talk about this ramen thing, you guys. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were walking past, and the developer, I suppose, of this game, she's kind of trying to get anyone to play. Says, "Hey, would you like to play?" And my answer was immediately yes. So all 3 of us go, sorry, I guess, but like I'm not sorry because it was really fun.
So basically, they're trying to get everybody to play, but I also think whenever they see the media badge walk by, they're very, very they want press. They want any press whatsoever because they are generally overlooked.
Well, they deserve it.
They deserve it, yeah. So even though I'm DK Vine, even though, I only cover things about gorillas and pirates, I was like, sure, this is an experience. This is fun. Let's do it. I can make a giant bowl of ramen with Mitchell, Wolfe, and Mametchi.
So they had us. It was very much like pick which of the 4 ingredients you want to pick up first, and then we tried to get all of our chopsticks to like hold. Like there was a giant felt egg, a giant piece of piping that was to represent noodles. What else was there?
God, I don't even remember. I just remember the egg because I thought that was so weird.
Shrimp.
But according to you, shrimp,
Yeah,
yes.
there's like a plush shrimp. And...
But according to you, egg
else.
is a common ingredient. Like a whole fried egg is a common ingredient in ramen.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it was... You can either get ramen with a hard-boiled egg or a fried egg sunny side up. That is... Both of those are things I've had quite a bit before. But you would try to get your chopsticks around these, and your chopsticks are like big old walking sticks, and it's not as easy as maybe you would think. Or maybe you guessed exactly how hard it was. I don't know you. But once we were holding it between all 3 of us in midair, they would say something like, okay, you got to walk it over to the bowl, but you can only hop with both legs at the same time. You can't walk. Or... before you bring it to the bowl, you need to toss it up and then catch it with all your chopsticks at the same time. Like a bunch of tasks like that. And we were able to do it. We made the ideal meal.
We did. Yes.
I don't know if ramen's the ideal meal, though. Like,
ramen cooked this way can be very ideal.
I mean, it is college students' favorite meal.
No, this isn't that kind of ramen. This is a very different kind of ramen.
Yeah, you're thinking of the prepackaged ramen that you cook for 3 minutes and then you eat.
Yeah.
That has almost no nutritional value. No, Mitchell and I actually went to a ramen restaurant this Saturday. We got there, and it actually surprised both of us with how good it was.
Yeah, especially because we didn't like... I knew that it would be a good idea to get ramen, but we didn't have one picked out. We just kind of drove around LA until one appeared, which was a bad plan, but it worked out.
It worked out. Well, we drove into Culver City, so I think that's why it worked out.
Yeah.
Was it spicy?
Yeah.
A little bit, not that much.
The more spicy it is, the better, unfortunately.
What says you? What are you talking about?
I mean, I know what ramen is.
Well, earlier in this discussion, you said that ramen was like college students' favorite food. So I feel like maybe you don't know what ramen is.
Well, I am a college student.
You graduated, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I was one then.
Okay. Well, I think we all were.
Well, I was a baby.
Yeah,
I am a baby.
Once, and I know what spicy is because everything is spicy to a baby.
All right. Well, that was the ideal meal. It wasn't really a video game. It was more, like I said, a double dare challenge, like some sort of physical challenge. So I also played VR for the first time, like actual legit VR, which it's so funny because I think Chad and I talked about this a couple years ago on the show. Like, one of the things we wanted to check out while we were at E3 was VR, but it was one of the first years VR was really taking off, and the lines to play VR basically took all day.
Now
so
it's
we didn't
passé.
play any VR.
Yeah,
now it's passé, and they had it at the fucking Indiecade, so I could just strap on a VR helmet with no weight and play. It was an escape room experience, which I've never actually done a real escape room. I've never played VR, so this was a twofer for me. And it was mortifying because I knew you guys were watching me. I knew other people were watching me. I knew I was on the show floor. I felt very exposed, very on display. I felt like this was gym class and they were waiting for me to climb the rope or do like 30 pull-ups on the pull-up bar. So it very much felt like an intimidating, humiliating experience. And that's the downside to playing games at E3 is because you're not doing it from the comfort of your own home. So there's the trial and error. you don't really get. It's basically do or die, humiliate yourself or don't.
Yeah.
So, this was surreal for me. Although not as surreal as the VR I think Mitchell would play later in the week. But, ooh, tease.
Yeah.
So, basically, I'm in a locked room and I have to find the key to get out, and there's this computer I have to input codes in.
Really quick,
and there's
the
things
name of the game, because I think we should be, especially for Indiecades, we should be talking about the developers and the name of the game so people will know how to find them, because I think this game is like out now, based on the way he was talking about it. It's called Anderson. Anderson game. It's by AJRPG, which stands for American Japanese Role-Playing Game, which is not what this game was at all.
No. On the business card
is in the game.
Fair enough.
On the business card, the director of technology is Steven Vasquez.
Very nice man. Yes.
He was very patient with me as I struggled to figure out how to play the game.
I mean, it was pretty fun.
And granted, if I was at home and I was doing this, I think that would be a different experience. But I think I was cracking under the pressure a little bit. But
hey,
and I was
solve riddles while everyone watches. It's
this is how Batman feels, and I'm not the Batman, and I'm sorry, I don't have what it takes to fight the Riddler at a big video game expo. So
thank God that the HoloLens aren't a thing anymore, because you'd have to deal with
they are. They're still a thing. They're just not available for the general public yet.
Then. Okay.
Okay.
No one's going to use them.
I mean, I just saw on Skype I can still add the HoloLens to it, as an option on Skype. So yes, it's still a thing.
What is that even? What?
You can use Skype with the HoloLens. So
you'd just be staring into you'd see windows the little chat bubbles pop up while you're doing your thing every day.
I mean, presumably it's for video chat. It's not just...
So what would the video chat be, of your eyes?
No, of your face. What are you talking about?
But you put them on, don't you?
Yeah, but the camera doesn't shoot inward toward your eyes. If the camera's still on your computer or whatever. You're looking at the other person's camera in your HoloLens.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that was Tuesday. So, real quick, Tuesday was the biggest day, because Mametchi, that was the only day you attended, right?
So, the thing is that on Wednesday, I had work, and Mr. Walt Disney isn't very nice about absences, so I couldn't miss Wednesday. And on Thursday, I was just so tired that I didn't go.
Does he chase you, does his frozen head chase you on, a chicken walker if you don't show up?
Well, you see, they recently found the body. Okay, so it's a bit. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like. Do you remember the episode of Futurama where Nixon becomes president? And he had a robot body.
Yeah, but they found Walt Disney's body.
I mean, that's not something I should tell you, but I did tell you.
And all the people on stream. You're telling a very public audience right now.
Well, you see, Walt Disney's body was buried under It's a Small World for years. That's why you'd always hear anguish screaming from the bottom of it, because that's his...
Okay.
Now you realize I'm joking.
Well, I don't... Yeah,
Mametchi, you can't hear it. You can't hear it, but there's anguish screaming coming from this direction too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, Mametchi wasn't there on Wednesday and Thursday, so this is going to take probably a third of the time that took. Wednesday. I played Mario Tennis Aces, and I know this isn't a big deal because there was a big demo, everybody could play it, whatever, but this is the first time you could play it as Donkey Kong, which is why I did not play the demo. And Mametchi, for as much as you beat me in Smash Ultimate, I dominated as Donkey Kong. So the way they had it,
I could beat you in that game too.
No, you couldn't.
No,
so the way the demo was set up was you played doubles with. So you played doubles, teamed up with somebody against another team. Mitchell had a meeting at this time, so I was just basically going off on my own. And I played with just a random group of people, and I was Donkey Kong. I teamed up with Waluigi. We played 3 games. We won every single game, and they barely were able to score on us. It played beautifully. This is just the old Camelot magic. It was so much fun to play as Donkey Kong in this. I can't wait for the game. It comes out this week, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It looks really good.
And it was nice because I got to play it during the couple hours where only media had access to the show floor. So there was no wait. I mean, there was, but it wasn't bad.
There were no rich people who basically bought themselves into the convention. Which...
Like you?
Yeah.
I'm not rich, for one thing.
You just did it anyway.
I just did it out of love.
Okay.
Okay.
Out of the love out of the need, actually, to ask Craig Duncan if Banjo was in Smash.
I hope it was worth it.
It was very much worth it because I don't even think I should have said that.
Well, he didn't say anything.
Because he didn't...
Well,
because he didn't reveal anything? Because he gave you a standard corporate answer?
You don't know how to read that, because I know how.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, how's Mario Tennis?
Yeah. No, it was great. It was good. It was a good time, and Donkey Kong is playable in it. I didn't need Craig Duncan to confirm nor deny it. I played as him, and Diddy Kong has been confirmed as well, along with Birdo and Paratroopa. But this actually, come to find out, we found this out right as E3 was ending, and I was in the airport waiting to fly back. They will not be added to the game apparently until September, not as DLC, but as a free content update. I'm not sure why.
Diddy Kong I'm not sure that much more work.
Apparently, yeah.
I think they're just going for this Splatoon thing of like maybe a year at most, probably, of steady micro additions to the game. Just make it feel more alive, which I like. I think that's fun.
Well, I think that's the kind of the direction everything's heading towards. Like they want games to feel not just released and then closed off. You're going to get a constant reason to keep coming back to it, which is cool. It took me a while to get on board with that idea.
One of my favorite fake Smash leaks was that you'd start with the original 8 characters, which you actually do in this game, by the way. But every month they would add 5 new characters. So they would
really make it a living game, quote unquote.
That's one of the ones I thought was funny.
Yeah, that would be frustrating, but
well, you'd have Donkey Kong,
I do.
For sure.
Well, yes, but if I want Diddy Kong, I have to wait,
yeah.
And I have to wait here for Diddy Kong. But whatever, the game plays great, so I don't mind waiting. I do have a little bit of a clarification to give. So, Mitch, you and I were arguing about this. I've had a source tell me that there's a bigger split between the Mario and Donkey Kong franchise, and that would keep some characters from potentially appearing in Mario sports titles. As we see with Mario Tennis Aces and Super Mario Party, that is not necessarily the case. Diddy is in both. I have a bit of a clarification to give there. So that source was actually referring to the way the two franchises are marketed. It's not necessarily going to hold up Donkey Kong characters from appearing in Mario sports titles, but from here on out, the marketing, Donkey Kong, the franchise, the brand, is no longer being marketed by the same people who are in charge of the Super Mario franchise marketing.
Oh, so when you say it's a division, it's just literally a division of people in charge of it rather than a division of content.
Right. So basically, they've graduated Donkey Kong to its own priority in the marketing team, but it won't necessarily affect content as far as video game content. That's still on the developers whether they want to include the characters or not.
Okay.
So, yes, that actually makes sense considering everything we've seen. But yeah, just throwing that out there. So the only other thing I really have to share about Wednesday is the Rhyming Magician. So you meet all sorts of interesting people at E3, and I went back over to the Microsoft Theater and just spent some more time with Rare, you know. And while I was talking with Adam Park and Christina Parker of Rare, and this guy approached us who he was dressed like Chris Angel, the musician, or the magician.
What a hack, by the way.
But what's that?
What a hack. I hate Chris Angel.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
He performs at the Luxor, which is the worst themed hotel in Las Vegas. So just to let you guys know. Anyway, back to your story about this magician.
Thanks for letting me know.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
He basically dresses like Chris Angel if Chris Angel was in Assassin's Creed. And
yeah, that's a really good way of describing that.
yeah. And so he approaches us and he said, "Are you guys? I might be screwing us up here because, you know, I don't have as good of a memory as Mametchi, but he's asked, are you just Xbox fans? Are you a fan of PlayStation or Nintendo?" And Adam Park was like, "Well, Hyle likes Nintendo." Thanks, Adam. And so he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do a freestyle rap for you. You got to pick the character, though." And I'm like, "Well, how freestyle can this be if I have to pick the character? I think you've pre-planned some raps for me. The whole premise of this is faulty." So he was like, he gave me an assortment of characters I could pick from. I think it was like Mario, Link, Captain Falcon was one, bizarrely enough. And I basically flat out refused all of them. I said, "No, you have to do Donkey Kong. You have to do Donkey Kong." And to his credit, he did pull out a freestyle rap about Donkey Kong. What the lyrics were, I'm pretty sure he rhymed Kong with bong. He did bring up Diddy and smoking blunts. And so that was an experience. I gave him my business card. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. But
Hi,
yeah, and then
so I googled the rhyming magician, which is apparently his name, according to you, and I can't find a single thing about him. I don't know if he exists.
We don't know if that's his name.
I don't think that's his name. I think names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, his real name is Clarence Wilkinson.
And I don't know if he was actually a magician or not. He just did freestyle raps about video game characters, but he was dressing like a magician, and that really was the perplexing part. Why dress like a magician if you're not going to do magic tricks?
That's the trick.
I mean, Penn and Teller don't dress as magicians.
But he wasn't a magician! Okay, so Thursday... Well, Mitchell, tell me about some of your experiences, please. What else did you play? Yes. Or Wednesday, even.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a lot of... Tuesday was basically my day to just walk around, be E3, just fan, take it in. That was the day with the longest window of press being allowed in before the general public was allowed in, so I figured that would be a good excuse to like stand in some lines while they were shorter. But later I had some appointments, and I got to check out some fun stuff. I got to check out a sizable demo for the game Control, which you will recognize if you watched the Sony press conference, which I know is directly outside of the interest of a lot of listeners.
I'm very sorry. I didn't even watch it. So
I was counting on you, Tony. I was counting on you to watch it. In any case, though, it's a great looking game. It's It reminds me a lot of the book House of Leaves, where just the architecture of this house and the architecture of the book itself don't behave in a logical, straightforward way. So you can kind of dreamwalk your way through it. Really interesting concept. It's made by some very good and prestigious developers called Remedy, and the lighting in that game is just fantastic. I've never really commented on the lighting of a video game in like a really critical way before, but it's worth it. It's that good. Also, I played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for a little bit, and I gotta say, sometimes I can't tell if a game is good or bad from the demo, and it could just be because it was a bad demo. I think that the demo they chose to show me for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was not great. They just had me walking around in Viridian Forest, like literally that's it. I got to use that little fun Pokeball controller.
What a exciting place for a demo, though, just the Viridian Forest.
You see, my fear is that it's the most exciting place in the game, because it has like forest lighting, like the dust is lit up. That's usually kind of impressive. The rest of it is cities, and the cities of Generation 1 are not particularly big cities.
You don't like Saffron City?
I like them, but it's just, that's a small city compared to, later games.
I think that's fair, but it's also, being a remake,
Well, they've showed the layout of, like, Pallet Town and everything, and it's the same.
So, it's basically a remake.
Yeah, for sure. It's a remake of Yellow. It just, mechanically, it takes more from Pokemon Go than any of the actual games.
Were you able to catch a Pokemon?
Yeah, you can catch a lot of Pokemon really fast, just because of the way that happens.
That's interesting. So,
yeah.
I mean, I just... what bothers me about that, though, is that you don't fight them. You just, I'm simulating throwing with my Joy-Con controller I have here. You just, and...
Yeah.
But that kind of bothers me, too, because...
The motion control on the throw, the Pokeball throw, was so not great. Because usually, like with HD Rumble and everything, they've had a good track record of making the motions that you do feel like important motions relative to what you're actually doing in the game. And the throwing the Pokeball is literally just me, like, bending my elbow back and forth a lot. And
could you also, like, just... Because I know that, like, in some of the Wii era games, to simulate throwing, you could just, like, just barely move the Wii remote. Could that also work to throw the Pokeball?
Well, no, not necessarily, because, like, you actually need to throw it well. You need to throw it so it lands square on the center of the Pokemon you're trying to throw the ball onto.
Right. But how do you do that then? Like,
you just aim straight. Like, you have to hold the Pokeball straight, or the Joy-Con. I played with the Pokeball. You just aim it straight and throw it down in front of you straight.
I think I hate this already.
Yeah, it's very motion control based, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of Pokemon Go. It's just this game. I don't know. It's taking the weirdest parts of Go. Like, not my favorite parts of Go. The best parts of Go are that, like, you can do it in real life, and you can meet a lot of people doing it, and it's very communal. None of that's here. It's just like the physical way that game works is here, which is totally missing the point.
Is that is also that I guess it's just the whole. It's like I know that at the end of the trailer for that game, they showed, you, the playable character, and you see an encounter with Mewtwo. Mm-hmm. Is that encounter just going to be another, whew, and you catch it? Like, because it just doesn't sound interesting. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know how that's going to work, but it might work similar to how raids work in Pokemon Go, which is that there's like a battle beforehand, and they're like way souped up. Really, they're more powerful than they usually are. And then if you win that battle, you get a chance to catch it, which is like in a different instance.
Okay.
Yeah. So that might be how it works.
So it could be a boss battle, and then you...
Yeah, because battling is still in the game as normal.
It's normal.
Yeah.
So is it the same stats at... So because...
Yeah, it is.
I guess my question, of course, is... Back when Pokemon Bank came out... Hyle, I'm sorry we're boring you with this, by the way. But...
I'm trimming my toenails, actually.
That's good. Because I know that back when Pokemon Bank came out, they said the whole point of it was that for, every Pokemon game, mainline Pokemon game, was going to basically let you take your Pokemon from this game or that game. So we know that this game lets you transfer from Pokemon Go. Will it let you transfer from Pokemon Bank still? That's still like just a nobody knows thing?
Yeah, no one knows. So, I mean, Game Freak has said that this game is mainline, and I think that might just mean this is their big RPG Pokemon of this year, because this really doesn't fall in line with the other traditionally considered mainline Pokemon games. So the Pokemon Bank might only work with the one coming out next year. It might skip this one, because next year Generation 8 of Pokemon is happening, and it's more traditional, and it doesn't have this Pokemon Go connection.
Weird shit, yeah.
So that might be the first one with
I suppose
Bank.
that might be a bad move, because I think it's going to confuse people. Like, let's say your first game is Pokemon Go. I mean, Let's Go and Pokemon Go, okay? And then you play the new Pokemon game, and you can't transfer your Pokemon or trade them from that game. So that feels a little weird. Like, you know what I mean?
No. Like, your first game could be anything, and then the next game could be different. I feel like that's
fair. It's like how Ruby and Sapphire just didn't have any connection at all.
Yeah. We also hung out with Rare that day, Hyle.
Well, didn't you haunt a house or something?
Oh, yeah.
In VR?
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Ooh, I want to hear this. This sounds fun.
So, there's a VR game for PlayStation 4 called Deracine, or something like that. It is a word that means uprooted in some language. I think maybe French. I'm not sure. But it's from Software, which is known as the makers of Dark Souls, and it looked like this charming game where you play in a Victorian British orphanage or something as a ghost. So I'm immediately thinking, okay, well, this isn't anything like Dark Souls. This is interesting. So I got to check that out. It's the longest. I don't have a VR headset of my own, so I got to play around 40 minutes of this game, and that is absolutely the longest I've ever played in VR. Crazy game. It kind of plays like a 1990s LucasArts or Sierra point-and-click adventure game, where you need to go around an environment, take an item from somewhere, use it somewhere else, or use it on a person. The goal of your game is to convince kids in this house that you exist, that you're a ghost. They call you the fairy, and you can have limited impact on the environment. One of the ways in the demo that they wanted you to connect with these people was basically taking the life from one flower and putting it in a different flower, and the kids see that and they realize, oh, it's the fairy. And then, you convinced one kid because of that the fairy exists, and you are that fairy. So that was really cool, although as soon as I took the goggles off, I was fine in VR. But as soon as I took the goggles off, real life was hard to adjust to, and I got a headache from existing. Pretty bad, actually. And then later, when we finally got back to the B&B, Hyle gave me a Benadryl, and I...
Excedrin.
Or an Excedrin, thank you. And I fell asleep immediately.
Yeah, so, that was actually on Wednesday, and it was our last full night there, and the last night in the Airbnb, and so, we both had, work we wanted to do. You had some Super Jump podcasts you wanted to record. You actually passed out and woke up around midnight, I think?
Yeah. Which is a great way to adjust your sleep schedule.
And I passed out too because I was just so exhausted just from the week catching up with me and like almost being done. And so yeah, we both woke up around midnight, and you just woke up and started watching Smash Brothers like trailers and character trailers, and I just went back to sleep. I like brushed my teeth and fully went to bed at that point. So yeah, Wednesday night was kind of a lost night as a result. But yeah, Thursday was interesting in that it was basically over. Like E3, it was just the wind down. You had some interviews you still had to do for Super Jump. All I had to do was Rare. They were gonna have a Sea of Thieves panel in the E3 Coliseum again at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I basically just got there a little early and camped it out and waited for that. And yeah, they basically just did a Q&A with the audience about Sea of Thieves, and it was really cool to see like so many like hardcore Sea of Thieves fans in the audience. Because, you know, past E3, Sea of Thieves hadn't been out yet, so it was still this kind of ambiguous thing that was coming, but it had didn't really have any loyalty built up among gamers, except, you know, hardcore Rare fans. So, and it was funny because then, you know, they said, well, you know, you guys can talk with us after the show, we'll be outside, and there were people waiting them out at the exit of the Coliseum doors. So it was like they had groupies just waiting them out. It was really kind of cool to see. But yeah, from there, it was me and then Amir and his wife and Dan from Killer Instinct Central and his girlfriend and we all like met up with some Rare people like Mike Chapman and Shelley Preston and the Johns, as they're called, and we all went to the convention center together just to check out some of the stuff there, and met back up with you, Mitchell, and we went into South Hall, and this is when Rare decided to check out the Skull of Bones display at Ubisoft. So, for those of you who aren't aware, Skull and Bones is the quote-unquote rival pirate game being developed by Ubisoft. It's a lot more focused on ship-to-ship battles. In fact, that's mostly what the game is.
Right.
And it's got a bit more of a realistic aesthetic, a little bit harder of an edge, where Sea of Thieves is a bit more whimsical, a bit more comical, and a bit more fantasy-based, where this is more like this takes place in the Indian Ocean at this point in time, you know, and there's no Krakens. It's all just based on like exaggerated history, but history nonetheless. So
there's a lot of comparisons being drawn between these two games, but I think it's just kind of the unfortunate side effect of them releasing at the same time and being almost about the same thing. These games are pretty different. Skull and Bones, I think, is an Assassin's Creed spin-off. Like, Assassin's Creed 4 was a pirate game, and people liked that so much, and they were like, what if it was just a pirate game? And that's what Skull and Bones is to that. But these games were super different. Anyway, it was fun to see the just all the pirate stuff at E3.
It was funny. Yeah, we basically all posed on the little Skull and Bones. They have like a little ship deck there with the wheel, and you could pose and take a picture. And so a bunch of Rare staff and fans, Mitchell and myself included, were in on this picture. And then Skull and Bones tweeted it and said pirate bros for life or something at Sea of Thieves. And that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
you know?
That was nice.
And then Joe Neat, I think it was like Mike Chapman retweeted it then, and then Joe Neat retweeted it and said, like, we have to talk, as in like scolding him in a lighthearted way.
Between this and Mario and Rabbids and Beyond Good and Evil 2, I just really like Ubisoft these days. I feel like they don't get quite enough due. They're a good company.
We also were kind of hovering around Ubisoft because earlier that day, Davide Soliani, I said it right, nice, Mitchell, nice. I got it.
Congratulations.
I finally got it.
I thought it was David Savani.
Well, it's not.
Oh,
It's not. It's not David Salami. It's Davide Soliani. He tweeted that he and Grant Kirkhope were going to be at Ubisoft around 5 p.m. to sign copies of the game and answer questions. So, of course, I'm thinking, like, I would love to meet Davide Soliani. Just let him know. Because, you know, we've, like, interacted a little bit on Twitter very, very briefly. Not anything I expect him to remember, but I would just, you know, like to say, hey, you know, I run this Donkey Kong fan site. Looking forward to Donkey Kong Adventure. And obviously, I'd like to see Grant Kirkhope again and say, hey, Grant, you know, good to see you again. And please unblock us on Twitter. So, yeah, we didn't know what form or fashion they were going to arrive in. We didn't know if, like, they were going to get up on the stage or if this was going to be just a casual, like, drive-by. And, yeah, they appeared, and then we were able to briefly speak with both. You got to shake Soliani's hand and talk with Grant a little bit, but then they had to get up on stage for... I'm not sure what this was, Mitchell. I'm not sure
no
what
one is
the
sure. I've talked to some other people that apparently this was streamed. Like Ubisoft's official Twitch stream or something.
Yeah.
It didn't come off any better there than it did at the place. There was like someone, they had a guy in a chair actually playing through the game. So I kind of thought, oh, this is a gameplay demonstration. But then Grant was there and he's just playing through all like some songs, and he's leading the audience in a sing-along of, well, first it was the DK rap, and that made a little sense as a sing-along, but then it was like just Jungle Japes, or not Jungle Japes, Jungle Hijinks, and
DK Island Swing is the track
Swing.
name,
and
yes,
that was supposed to be a sing-along, which is difficult because it does not have lyrics.
You can hum it.
You can,
know,
okay.
So, by the way, this performance is on our YouTube channel. By the way, because we did record it.
Not my
and
performance.
No, obviously not your performance. Grant Kirkhope and Davide Soliani, but it's them doing DK Island Swing and then the Donkey Kong theme on ukulele and kazoo.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and meanwhile, this guy is playing the game. So it's a little bit controlled chaos here.
All of these things are things that would have been very exciting to see separately, but they were all at the same time.
I'm listening to you right now. I don't even know what was going on because it's the way you guys are describing it.
Just check it out on our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/DKVine or DKVine.com/YouTube. So anyway, yeah, from what I saw of the gameplay though for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle Donkey Kong Adventure, I assume there's gonna be a colon there. I really liked what I saw. Like I know I was kind of on the fence when we talked about it on the last episode, Mitchell, just because I was like, you know, it's a little disheartening to see there were no real recognizable elements there. It was just basically a jungle world created for Donkey Kong with no thematic callbacks. But it looked really cool from what I saw, and we know there are going to be callbacks. There are going to be things that they reference, and Soliani said, you know, they can't specifically say what some of the references are. We think it's going to be the coconut gun, though. We think the coconut gun's definitely going to take a part in it.
Yeah, there was an audience question about at the same time Grant was playing a song and the guy was playing a game, and Davide Soliani was taking audience questions. So one of the audience questions was, will the coconut gun show up? We know there's a bunch of weapons. And this is an interesting question because it seems obvious, but Donkey Kong himself does not have a bazooka or even a gun of any kind. That's more like what the Yoshi characters, both Yoshi and Rabbid Yoshi in the main game, that's like more their style. And Davide said that he can't speak on that at the moment, which I guess is the same kind of answer that Craig Duncan gave us about Banjo.
I told you.
Yeah, but I also feel like this is much lower stakes.
Yeah.
Is the coconut gun going to appear in Donkey Kong Adventure?
Yeah, I think it's a it's a very seldomly used fan favorite that could come back in something like this. So it would make sense. Diddy's peanut gun appears kind of all the time nowadays, and Donkey Kong never got that.
That's the smash
treatment.
factor. That's the smash factor. So
yeah.
But we know they're going to be like the Animal Buddy weapons, you know, specifically weapons based on the Animal Buddies, inspired by the Animal Buddies. We know there's an Engard one, there's an Espresso one, there's a Squawks one that we've seen thus far. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and that's coming out next week, at least the digital version. Who knows when the physical edition comes out, which is what I'm actually waiting for. So, alright. But anyway, they got off on stage. They got off the stage, and of course, people were swarming Grant. They wanted to get their picture taken with him. They wanted to, get an autograph. But we were able to get some time with him, talking with him, and brokered peace. If it, not that's overblowing it. It's not like there was any animosity there, but Grant unblocked the Twitter, and I can read his tweets now. And all is harmonious in the land of DK Vine's social media. So it was great to talk to him again.
Yeah, that was good.
Just don't get blocked by Sakurai. Because he is blocking people now, you know.
Is he? Well, considering I've said nothing bad about his new game.
Good.
Oh, did you hear about this, Hyle? Did you hear about this at all?
No.
So he's been getting, death threat level complaints. And probably a lot of, also complaints just below that level. About Waluigi.
What, are you fucking kidding me? This wasn't even a thing before people decided to go meme status with it.
Well, I don't know about that. People did want Waluigi. I've heard some people that, genuinely wanted Waluigi.
Okay, but that's... okay.
It definitely didn't seem like he was the number one choice.
Until they decided just to arbitrarily get upset about this and just...
What gets me about that is that it got weirdly public mainstream media attention. I think it was funny at first when you had Netflix making jokes, you had Washington Post making an article, you had the fan reaction at the that thing, and I guess maybe at first Sakurai thought maybe I'll put them in, but then you have this weird death threat stuff coming up now, and it's like.
Well said. The world is a cesspool. I've lost all faith in humanity. Come on, Pete. I don't even. Are they joking? Death threat? I'm not saying there's.
For a lot of people, Waluigi is their biggest thing apparently, and I think it's just because. The biggest audience of Nintendo still and forever will be Mario spin-offs, Kart especially. And Waluigi makes a big presence. Waluigi feels like a big presence in those games. And it's definitely the one main Mario character in spin-offs like that just isn't in the game yet. So I understand why.
Well, he's the only Mario character who isn't in the game yet. So
yeah, now that Daisy's in, I guess it's just Waluigi.
Yeah, so get back to me when your franchise doesn't have Dixie Kong or K. Rool level characters in the game. We just have Donkey and Diddy over here in Donkey Kong World. So you know what? I don't care. I don't care about your problems. You got basically everybody you could want. You have all the Koopa kids even.
Well, that
Come on.
implies that Waluigi fans are fans of the other Mario characters.
There was a question at the Mario and Rabbids Q&A saying that because there are Wario and Waluigi as Rabbids in the main game that you fight, just like Rabbid Kong, they're bosses. Is there a chance that we could see a Wario and Waluigi DLC spin-off of Mario and Rabbids? And Davide, his answer was not, I can neither confirm nor deny. It's not one of those. It was more like, they've thought about it a lot, apparently, and they just don't have any plans to do any more DLC at this time. I would not be surprised if that was something in the works.
Could you imagine if that actually got I
really can't. I really can't imagine it.
Can you imagine if a Wario DLC would it be Wario Land based? Would it be WarioWare based? Like, that's some interesting thoughts. Like,
I feel like it would be Waluigi based.
Mametchi,
yeah.
Can you imagine that there's no rhythm heaven? See as if you tried. No hell below us, above us, only sky. So, that was E3, but we have some calls to take about E3. I have a feeling all these calls are going to be more Smash-based, though, and less about the ideal meal. So,
I would love to take that call.
I would love to take that call, but alas, I don't think anybody called in about it. So let's take these calls, and then we'll wrap this up. Blissfully, we'll wrap it up. And then that will be E3 2018 in the books, once and for all. So here we go with the first call. Take it away, first caller.
Hey, so I'm not sure if you've discussed this before, but assuming there were to be, and I don't mean to trample anyone's feelings here, but assuming there were to be a new DKU character in Smash Brothers, what kind of reveal trailer would you like to see, whether it's for Dixie, Funky, Cranky, or of course, K. Rool, or even something wild like Banjo? Like, what sort of reveal trailer, like, what do you have imagined? Because I know especially Hyle's good at stories and stuff. Okay, bye.
I'm good at stories. That puts a lot of pressure on me. Well, thank you for the call. Reveal trailers. Ooh, what would I want for a reveal trailer?
I want Cry to, like, no, I won't do this. No.
I think they're talking more about Donkey Kong universe specific. This is the Kongversation, lest we forget. Right. So, well, you know what? I actually, the only reason I'm thinking about this is because, weirdly enough, Fallout 76. So, Fallout 76, Mitchell, we were at the Xbox briefing, and they had the trailer for Fallout 76, which, whatever, like, as far as the post-apocalyptic genre goes, it's the least offensive one at E3, because it's tongue-in-cheek a little bit. It knows what it is, as we've said, but
yeah,
Fallout 76 had... Yeah. What's that?
I was just saying, I would agree with that. That out of all of the post-apocalyptic games like that.
We need more of that.
It's not Dying Light 2. So
it is not Dying Light 2.
But Fallout 76 had incorporated a John Denver song, Take Me Home Country Roads, because it takes place in the mountains of West Virginia. All right, so for whatever reason, that got earwormed into both Mitchell and my head throughout the entire week of E3, so we found ourselves just singing it randomly throughout the week. And as we saw the Ridley trailer for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's reveal, it got me thinking about, if whatever reason we actually got Banjo-Kazooie, be it this game or if we had gotten in Super Smash Bros. 4, it would have been, or would be amazing if they incorporated that song, and Fallout 76 already got to it, so, it's pretty much off the table now. But, the song Take Me Home Country Roads would be very apropos for Banjo, considering it would be Banjo's return to a Nintendo console. Mm-hmm. So it would kind of be sentimental. It would tie into the theme of Banjo-Kazooie, or at least the character of Banjo.
The fact that Isle of Hags is inside of West Virginia.
That would be made canonical, sure. Yeah. But and then I just picture, like, you hear the song, and you have the reveal, and you got some footage, you got the cinematic trailer, whatever, and then you have Banjo playing the banjo, performing this song, Kazooie on the kazoo.
If you know the words, you can join in too.
Right, maybe Mumbo on the xylophone in the background, but then you would have on the side Donkey Kong on the bongos, Diddy on the guitar, like just this celebration of, hey, Banjo, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, they're back together, if just for this one time. And you could do all sorts of things. Like, I think, obviously you could play up the fact that he also crossed over as Sonic. in Sonic, or they crossed over Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing with Banjo-Kazooie. That would be cool. So long as it's set to Take Me Home Country Roads.
One would very much focus on all of the racing games he's been in with other Smash Brothers characters.
Yes.
Like, you could start with your shot just of an overview shot of a racetrack, and then Donkey Kong comes barreling around a dusty turn, and then all of a sudden he's hit with a banana. It shows like a few yards in front of him is Diddy in his car, and he's driving neck and neck with Sonic, and they're just like almost at the finish line, and then all of a sudden a grenade egg comes in, explodes between Diddy and Sonic, blows them off the trail, and then Banjo and Kazooie, and maybe they're Nuts and Bolts trolley, or maybe in like the car they use in the Sonic racing game, just zoom past him and win the race. Something like that I could see. And because we're kind of sure at this point that Shadow is going to be an Echo character, because of all that stuff, maybe the trailer could just end with like a quick shot at Shadow also in this race or something. I don't know. But something race-oriented would be fun.
Or consider we just saw Mario get murdered in the Ridley trailer. Yeah. Another fun trailer would be to have like Mario, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong, or like Mario, Link, Donkey, and Diddy like exploring like what turns out to be Grunny's lair, and like they're all in the same team, and like this mysterious force is stalking them, which turns out to be Banjo-Kazooie, like and it's like trying to pick them off, and then Donkey and Diddy like turn on Mario and Link and like slit their throats and like dump their lifeless bodies like down the stairs as they tumble down, and then it shows their alliance is actually with Banjo, the rare defectors. I don't know
Well, I like the idea that canonically we've now seen the birth and death of Mario. That the Ridley reveal trailer takes place after every other game in the Mario series. Every single one. It takes place at the very end.
And every single Mega Man game.
And yeah, well, no, because Mega Man is actually also dead in some Mega Man games. This might be what killed Mega Man.
Well, you say we've seen the birth of Mario. We've never actually seen him exit the vaginal canal.
Well, that's not how he does it. He goes via stork. You know this.
Okay, but I don't know. There's got to be some vagina involved. I'm sorry.
Well, the stork had one probably, but
All right. What's the point of vaginas in the Mario universe then if the stork just does it?
What's the deal with vaginas?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell Wolfe's ex-gay boyfriend and lover. And I was wondering what you guys thought about the fact that Donkey Kong's Final Smash is now referencing Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Because apparently they had a they had to rework how Final Smashes worked. And that included giving Donkey Kong a brand new Final Smash. And of all the games, they decided to go with Jungle Beat, which has had pretty mixed reception on the forums because, they wanted a more tropical freeze or returns or just going back to very olden days. What's your thought on this? And are we going to get a Bluster Kong Echo character? Bye.
Bluster Kong will never be referenced in Smash Brothers. If we get an Echo character of Donkey Kong, it'll be Funky Kong. I am absolutely certain of it.
Yeah, it's hard to think of any other characters that would work.
Especially after new Funky mode, especially you could just overlay Funky Kong on top of Donkey Kong. The spinning Kong could have a surfboard involved. Like, it's so easy at this point.
Maybe that's why we're not going to get Carol.
Well, I don't think the Echo character would necessarily preclude K. Rool getting in.
Maybe it will.
Well,
I still think Dark Samus is going to be an Echo character, and they also had Ridley.
Yeah, I think Echo characters, they're just going to go hog wild with them, considering they now have an out. Basically, it's just saying, yeah, this is just cheap and lazy, but it's easy, so suck it up, fanboys. And like they didn't really have that before. It always just felt like a bigger deal. Hence the hatred for Dark Pit. You know?
Yeah, I love that actually. It's just more content you wouldn't have otherwise, and it's clearly of a different level of importance.
Right, exactly. So nobody's getting a roster slot because they're an Echo character. So
I am curious if, say, that one, the German dude, of course, if when he said half a dozen characters are still unannounced, does that include Echoes?
I don't think it does, because I don't even think they've finished the Echoes right now. Like, he wouldn't even know about those. It seems like something that they can just add in a couple days. I mean, probably not, but much quicker, right? Like, they could add some between now and launch that they don't even have planned.
Here's a question for you two. If they were to include famous Sega character Echo the Dolphin, would he then have an Echo character based on him? That's a conundrum. I mean, how could you not? All right, so I don't mind the Jungle Beat Final Smash.
Before we go on with that, you see, Echo would actually be an echo of Snorkel the Dolphin.
This is good.
Oh.
So you think...
Right.
I would like to imagine a world in which Banjo gets two representatives in Smash Brothers, one of which is Banjo-Kazooie, and the other is Snorkel the Dolphin.
Who's actually just an Echo character of Echo.
Well, no, I said Snorkel would be the original. Echo would be the Echo.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Well,
so it fits.
It fits, right. I don't mind the Jungle Beat Final Smash, really. Everybody assumes this is going to bother me. I like Jungle Beat, and this really just, despite them saying it's from Jungle Beat, it really just could fit also Returns and Tropical Freeze, the big like boss punchy moments at the very end of a boss fight. Like it's part and parcel with the Donkey Kong franchise at this point.
Yeah.
I did like how specific the Bongo Final Smash was. I am one of the few fans who did not mind the Bongo Final Smash, even though it was kind of impractical. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I'm not sad to see it go.
Yeah, so, going off things that are traditionally liked on DK Vine, going from Donkey Konga to Jungle Beat is kind of just out of the frying pan into the fryer. It's not like different.
Yeah, I mean, would I like something from Tropical Freeze, like what the Kong Pao move or something? Yeah, sure. Like that would be good. I do hope we get some Tropical Freeze content. I hope we get a Tropical Freeze stage for once. I don't know if we're gonna get any new Donkey Kong stages though, so just holding my breath. I don't know. It would be nice to get some assist trophies in there of Snowmans, maybe.
Maybe Funky. No, it's not Funky. Chunky Kong.
Yes, the infamous Chunky Watch of Super Smash Bros. 4 that turned out to be nothing but a hoax.
Well, you see, for me right now, it's Ashley Watch because she hasn't shown up as an assist trophy yet. So, I'm watching out for her.
Yeah. I am glad the DKU gets at least one assist trophy for once in Crystal. Like that feels like a small victory. Even like if a decade ago Crystal would have been an obvious choice for a newcomer. At this point, you take what you can get. The Venus de Milo factor, am I right? So
yeah, is this really only the third rare created character that's shown up as something other than a trophy in Smash Brothers?
So there's Diddy, right?
Right. And then Donkey, or Donkey's current version.
There's Cranky Silhouette.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the Claptraps in the Rivers, and then there's the Critter in Smash Run.
The Critter, right, yeah. I was going to say, the Claptrap, you could make an argument that that's more from Donkey Kong Jr., kind of. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's maybe inspired.
Well, those are Snapjaws. Those are, maybe inspired, but those are specified to be claptraps from off of Donkey Kong Country, so.
In any case, Crystal's breaking new ground.
Oh, in DK Jr. they're called Snapjaws, but you see, in the artwork for the game, they look like mechanical things.
Right.
So it can't be that, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, Mitchell. God.
Oh, so that's a modern Snapjaw in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. Weird looking.
Anyway, thank you for your call, G-Man.
Thank you.
So he's
Thank
your
you. So
yeah, I didn't.
So,
I don't think he said his name on the call, but I'm pretty sure it's G-Man.
He never says his name, but okay.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time he's called in and introduced himself as your ex-gay lover.
Wait, seriously?
Oh yeah, this is a reoccurring thing.
Okay. He actually, on Father's Day, he sent me a message saying Happy Father's Day, Mitchell, which I thought was maybe a little weird. Should I be worried? Only time will tell.
Especially, I know we were singing about West Virginia, Mitchell, but if he's your son, he shouldn't also be your ex-lover.
Well, that's why we're exes. We realized that we were going too far with it.
That's
right.
fair.
All right, let's take... I'm gonna play this last call whether you guys are ready or not. Here we go.
Hey, Kongversation. This is Ridley. Calling to voice my support of King Wolfe Smash Brothers. He and I go way back, actually. You know, pirates gotta stick together. That's what I always say. And, been looking around the forum. I'm a big fan of the show. I love them Beatles references. And, on the forum, been real pleased. People seem to really take a liking to me. But a few people are still down the dumps about K. Rool. And I just want to say, if I can get in, then even if you don't make it in, you know, with the limited character slots, this game is gonna get DLC up to ASS. Rip. We got some new characters. I mean, there ain't no way you ain't making it in. So, keep your head up. K-Rool for Smash. Ridley out. Bye-bye.
You see, I told you Ridley's more gentle outside of his public appearances.
Did you say that? Have you said that to us before?
I mean, I've said it to you, Mitch.
When was this?
Oh, no, I think I told Courtney that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to him over at the Punch Bowl, and he didn't seem very gentle at all.
We just gotta know how to talk to him.
So Ridley brings up a good point.
Yes, what does Ridley bring up that's a good point?
I think we've talked about this on the last one that I was on, but the fact that Ridley is now considered okay, where Ridley hasn't been in the past, is a good sign for characters like K. Rool.
Of course.
It definitely ups the premium on new characters, because we were thinking like Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade 2, Captain Toad maybe, because like that's a fun enough Mario character that people know about, and it's always pretty cheap to add a Mario character, you know? And like the newest Pokemon, we were aiming kind of low. And with the only full newcomers being known at this time being Inklings and Ridley, they both are like big deals. They're raising the bar quite a bit. And I think that goes from just like Smash 4 definitely had the ideology of Sakurai can do whatever he wants because he has got most of the so-called Nintendo icons, so he can just like grab whatever he wants, fill out a few more things, like Animal Crossing should definitely have a representative. Finally, we got Mega Man. After that, go hog wild. Do the series that you like, and do the third-party deals that make you the most money. Whatever the motivation was for all of those choices, it seemed very much like, well, we took care of the basics, now do this. And Smash 5, or Ultimate, I'm still getting used to calling it Ultimate.
I call it Special because that's the Japanese title and it sounds better.
In Smash...
Does it?
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
Special?
Yeah, that's a Japanese title. It's Super Smash Brothers Special.
No, I know that is that, but it sounds so much worse. Like, you're special. You're a new Smash Brothers.
Well, it's the special edition. It's like the you know, the remakes of the, not the remakes, but the, you know.
It's like special editions are existing things done like a little bit better. I don't want to talk about that. All I'm saying is that
it's not the original N64 game with dewbacks. So
Jedi rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
All I'm saying is that in Smash Ultimate, the premium for how important a character needs to be seems to be higher. Just based on the two that we know about, maybe the next announcement is Rex and Pyra, or is just a Pokemon.
Do you think that...
And then I'll be wrong, but it does seem that way.
Well, I do have a theory myself, though. So, what if we just don't get K-Roll? Because what if the Mii costume actually was just a consolation prize because Sakurai just couldn't get Nintendo to approve it? Because I know you guys say Sakurai could do anything he wants, but when you look at it, King K. Rool has not been in a Donkey Kong game in forever. It's not even like Ridley still is a part of the Metroid series. King K. Rool has just not shown up for over a decade now. So you have to tell just is K. Rool like? Could Nintendo just say no? That's not what we're taking the Donkey Kong series anymore.
I mean, yeah, they could, but Sakurai has also already used Kremlings, and I don't feel like... I mean, K. Rool is the one we want the most versus the Kremlings, which are, like, that's fine, that's cool. But at the same... I don't think they have different rules about using the Kremlings versus K. Rool. I think they're kind of a package. Sakurai can break whatever rules that the Donkey Kong video game developers themselves seem to be beholden to. So I don't think that is that much of an issue. I do think we're going to see some major DKU character of some form. I just feel it. I feel like it's time. All of the heavy hitters here, be them a different Kong, K. Rool, or Banjo-Kazooie.
I mean, after all, Craig Duncan
they're all big enough. Yeah, Craig Duncan did tell you some stuff about nothing.
Craig Duncan did say absolutely nothing to your face.
Yeah.
So therefore... Well, anyway, that was E3. That was the E3 that was. And Mitchell, you drove back home.
I did.
Mametchi, you stayed at home. And I flew back to Virginia. And, you know, I came back in my aircraft to the shadows of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And you know what? That reminds me of a song. Sing along with me if you know the words. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
Life is old there.
Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
That was embarrassing. I couldn't even do it.
Hey, remember in The Office season 5 when Dwight and Andy sang that to Aaron?
Yeah, I do.
You can neither confirm or deny that.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.